Hello, folks. Jamie here. And I am very pleased to be joined by Tom Atkins from the Spireites Write Chesterfield podcast. How are we doing, Tom?
Yeah, not too bad, thank you.
One.
New year, same inconsistency, I think I would say, from the entire division, but there you go.
Yeah, I mean, League Two is really famed for that, isn't it? Just anyone can just jump up and down with a bit of runner form, but nobody seems to have that runner form because anyone can beat anyone. Tom, first of all, how's your season going generally?
Yeah, I think I'd probably give it maybe a 6.5 out of 10. I think just because obviously we were the preseason favourites for automatic promotion along with MK Gons. It kind of does feel like scrapping for a playoff place. We probably should be doing a bit better than that, really. But I think having had a half a season to reflect, the squad probably wasn't quite as balanced as we would have wanted it to be in the summer. So I think now we've managed to do a bit of sort of corrective recruitment in January. I really think we'll kick on in the second half of the season. But yeah, I think we're probably about where we should be in terms of, as we've already said, the massive inconsistency that the league's had. We've been inconsistent. We've had injuries like everyone else as well. So it's just one of them. I think we're in a decent position to kick on, but we need to find some more consistency than we've had.
Yeah, of course. I mean, we love any consistency here at Rodney Parade, to be perfectly honest with you. So we'd absolutely take yours, but we understand, obviously, starting the season as one of the favourites, you're kind of expecting a little bit more. In terms of transfer business in the January window, we're recording this on the 21st. Still got a few days left till the end of the season, the end of the window. We'll get on to Sammy Braybrook in a second. But where have you been looking to strengthen, and are you currently happy with the movements so far in January for yourselves?
Yeah, honestly, I'm buzzing with our January business. I think our biggest issue was a lack of any kind of depth in defence. I think we only had like 3 fit centre halves or something like that, and they're all over 30 as well. So obviously, you kind of run the risk of players getting injured and not being able to play 90 minutes every week, kind of thing, especially when it's that threadbare. But yeah, we've brought in we've had one in the works for ages, a free transfer centre off from Forge FC in the Canadian Premier League. I think. The bloke's family are actually from just down the road in Mansfield anyway, so he's clearly wanted to come back to England, kind of thing. But he's found his way back to found his way here, which we've just got the international clearance for him. Hopefully, he can start playing a few games for us. But we've got him, we've got Sil Swinkles and Sam Curtis on loan from Villa and Sheffield United, who are two. One's a big, massive centre half, and the other's a big, massive right back. So I think that tells you where we thought we needed sort of strengthen it was a little bit more physicality in defence and just a bit more youthful depth as well. So yeah, that's all looked good. And then most recently, we've just signed Tom Pearce at left back, who obviously has played for Paul Cook at Wigan in the past and has played most of his career at a high level, to be fair. So he looked really good against Bromley when he came on. Obviously, there's the famed Sammy Braybrook in midfield that you guys know all too well about. I mean, you know what he's got. He's looked class since he's come in. He's really helped us step up that sort of passing game in midfield to another level. And then we've also signed Freddie Ladapo up front, who obviously again experienced, been around the blocks in sort of League One, lower end of the Championship. So yeah, I think it's been a really successful transfer window for us, to be honest.
Yeah, it sounds it. It sounds like you've been very busy, and I think the fact that your guys did pretty well against Bromley, who are very physical side as well. I think improving that physicality is only just going to help in League Two, and I'll be honest, it bodes well for yourselves at Rodney Parade at the weekend. It's something that we've struggled with throughout the season, and I'm not 100% sure we've managed to sort of address that issue just yet. But yeah, I mean. Coming then on to Braybrook, you mentioned I think he went straight into your starting 11. Were you a bit surprised that obviously he was already on loan in a League Two side. Was he someone that you were surprised to sort of manage to grab? Because like you said, we've had in the first half of the season and he looked head and shoulders above everyone else. And to be honest, we're a little bit gutted that he kind of, I wouldn't call it a sideways move as such, but in terms of divisional moves, it's a sideways move. So yeah, were you surprised by that?
Yeah, I was really. I mean, yeah, as you say, I guess in a way it's moving from a relegation struggling team to a promotion chasing team. So you can see in that regard why you might want to do it. But like you say, I think he's a player who could probably already play at a higher level than this. So I've seen a lot of Leicester fans were quite upset as well about the exact same thing that you just said, that he's not gone and tried his arm in League One, or maybe even like lower Championship, because I think a lot of them want him as kind of a squad player going forwards, which again that tells you about how highly rated he is. That a team with Premier League aspirations are wanting him as a squad player, or at least the fans of that team. So yeah, I think his qualities speak for themselves. He's very, very composed on the ball. He's very good at turning on a sixpence, isn't he? He can spread passes, short passes, long passes. He's got that in his locker. And I mean, obviously, we're very much a possession-based team, which might break the mold a little bit in League Two. But yeah, him and Ryan Sturck against MK, obviously the first game when he came straight in, it looked like they played together 20 times already. And they just had that sort of implicit partnership of, knowing where each other would be, finding each other in the right areas, and trusting each other to sort of turn out of trouble and that kind of thing. So, yeah, I guess I don't need to over-explain him to you, because you know exactly what he's got up his locker. But yeah, to answer your question, I was very surprised that we managed to get him, because he should be in League One, to be honest.
Yeah. So, yeah, obviously, you mentioned that partnership in midfield. Sounds like it's one of the sort of key areas that we should be concerned about. I mean, who else are going to be your key danger men? If you're saying to a Newport fan this weekend, who should we be worried about? Who should we be looking out for?
So I think in general, with a Paul Cook team, you're looking at that five in midfield. The 4-2-3-1. You're looking at the 2 and the 3 as like the main threats in the squad. Obviously, we've got quite a lot of depth in those attacking midfield positions. We've had Armando Dobra and Dylan Markande out injured for quite a while, but it's rumoured that they're both fit to come back in pretty soon, and we're not sure if that'll be on Saturday. But I would say if either of those two come back in, they're probably 2 of the best wingers in the division, in my opinion. So I would be keeping an eye out for them too. In terms of who's played more recently with the injuries and stuff, Liam Mandeville's always one to watch out for. He's an assist machine. And if you give us good set piece opportunities, he's always putting the ball exactly where he wants it, from corners and free kicks and that kind of thing. And again, he's another player who's very comfortable on the ball, comfortable at turning out and recycling possession. So yeah, I'd probably say Mandeville. And then obviously Lee Bonis has recently won the League Two Player of the Month, and that's because he's finally started finding his shooting boots. And he's that kind of striker who, he just grafts for 90 minutes. He'll close down the defence. He'll link up play. He'll get himself in the right areas consistently. And it was really frustrating watching him earlier in the season, because you just felt for him, because he was doing all the right things. It just wasn't going in for him. But now it is. So yeah, I guess Lee Bonis as well up front is another one to watch out for potentially.
Okay, so to be honest, it sounds like you guys, you're sounding very positive, Tom, I have to say, which obviously only comes from having a really good transfer window and maybe a couple of good results. But naturally, you say you've not been consistent, or as consistent this season as you'd like to have been. So please tell me there's a weak spot or somewhere which you think, if anywhere where you've been undone this season, it's been in that area.
Yeah, to be honest with you, I think we've always got a mistake in us. We're good at gifting teams just soft goals in bad moments in games and that kind of thing, and not taking probably gilt-edged chances that we get. So I'm not saying we're unbeatable by any stretch of the imagination, but I mean, to be honest with you, I thought when you guys came to our place, you actually gave us quite a good game. I don't think that you were like squarely destroyed or anything. I thought it was quite a competitive match, and I'd expect the same going down there this weekend. I mean, I went to the game last season and I think it ended 3-0 in the end, didn't it? But I think our first goal was like after a minute, just a defensive mistake. And then we scored our other 2 goals really late on. And the rest of the game, you just turned it into an absolute slog for us. And it was a really tough match. So I don't think we're going down there expecting to just roll you over. I don't think any team in League Two does roll over most of the time, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, it does. It's it's I mean, to be honest, it's quite nice to hear that you also love to concede a soft goal, because I think that's been one of our makings of our downfall this season. We're kind of good in patches, but then when we should be probably making the most of that period of dominance of possession or chances, we don't take our chances, and then goal goes in the other end, and then heads drop.
Yeah.
So 4-1, 4-1 in the corresponding fixture this season. But like you say, not quite a dropping. And then 3-0 at Rodney Parade last season. Just looking at the head-to-heads, actually, I think you've won the last 4 against us. So you have to go back to 2017 for a Newport win, and that was a 4-1. Which I mean, to be honest, our form, I mean, aside from the Gillingham absolute nightmare last weekend, conceding 2 goals in injury time, we've started to look a little bit better under Christian Fuchs, and I think the break in, we had a game called off, and then a game called off for the cup, so we had a bit of a break in our matches, and I think that might have given our new players a bit of a chance to sort of settle in, and maybe a new style or a new setup might kind of help us. I'm clutching at straws here because I did say this last week and it didn't quite work out. Okay, so yeah, you've told us how what we can expect from yourselves, and strengths and weaknesses. What are you feeling? What's your gut saying this weekend in terms of a score prediction?
So it kind of feels like a bit of a must-win game from our point of view, just because obviously we still want to get top 3 this season, and you kind of look at the table now and think we're only 5 points off it, but we need to start getting some results. And we've had a tough run of fixtures recently. Obviously, we had Bromley, MK. I think we've got Salford and Walsall coming up as well. So it's just been like all the top sides in one go, all while we're transitioning as well. So I think this one is one that we need to win. I've seen some very positive sides from the new players, I'll be honest. So I'm hoping that it can sort of all come together on Saturday. Obviously, that makes it very hard to predict because there's still new players, there's still new patterns forming and stuff. But I'm gonna say 3-1 Chesterfield. I think we will win in the end.
Yeah, I mean, that's my sort of kind of gut as well. Team sort of right up there on the cusp of the playoffs, and realistically not that far from automatics. It's very tight in that sort of. I think aside from Bromley, who have got a little bit of a lead now, it's quite tight, isn't it? The rest of that sort of almost top half as such. So yeah, it's kind of anyone's game. And I think, to be honest, if I was a Chesterfield fan, I'd be going, yeah, this is a game we need to target. Okay, Tom.
Here's one from me.
Yeah.
What's Christian Fuchs been trying to do since he came in? What's his sort of style of play?
Yeah, interesting one, because I feel so. I mean, the last game I was at was actually a month or so ago now. We got absolutely done over by Boreham Wood in the cup, and I think it was only his like 3rd or 4th game, and I wasn't really sure what he was trying to do. Ever since then, over Christmas, the Christmas period, we had a couple of clean sheets. He's trying to sort of make us a little bit more difficult to play against. And I think to be honest, it's less so about our style of play, and it's more about the personnel that we've been managed to sort of bring in. We've as a new midfielder, Biggins, who came in almost as a kind of replacement for Braybrook, but more generally, just another body in midfield. To give ourselves a bit of a creative spark. So I think we're just trying to figure out how to get that creative spark going again. To be honest, this season I've not really seen a great pattern in a style of play, but I feel Fuchs is he's getting there. He's getting something out of us, and it's generally all about just trying to sort of maybe get a few chances forward, get a few more players forward, and get a few just chances in the box, because that's where we struggled. So I think he's trying to sort of a bit more fundamentally change our approach. So I don't think it's necessarily about a possession based play, which Hugh Jenkins, when he took over, that was his kind of mantra. And I think by and large we're going to try and stick with that mantra, but sometimes needs must, and you just need to win a game no matter how ugly it is, to be honest with you.
Yeah. It's a tough one. It's a tough one, isn't it? Especially when you're down the bottom end of the table. Like, sort of, how far in each direction do you go in terms of trying to just be solid and grind out draws, or trying to just go for it and be like, right, if we lose, we lose. We just need to try to get some goals and impose ourselves on the game. It's a really tough balance to find for any team, I think, but especially when you're at the bottom end, because there's that sort of desperation as well, isn't there, of needing wins.
Yeah, absolutely. And we brought in a few strikers. We got a striker in from the Cymru Premier who's looked. I think he was top scorer last season. So the fact that we signed him was a bit of a coup. We brought back Ryan Delaney, centre half, who was our captain. We brought him back on loan from Swindon. He was our captain a couple of years ago, and he was kind of like a bit of a fulcrum when he was fit and firing at the center of that defense. And that's just another sort of, a body in really to try and make us be a bit more difficult to play against. And then a couple of whoever we've got our midfield, that's chap named Brennan, or this new Biggins guy, or Smith as well, who's been in and out through injury, and Cameron Antwi. So we've got like players there, but I think we're still not quite sure what our best 11 looks like. So yeah, but typically we'll stick with 3 at the back. We feel a bit more solid with 3 at the back. Our wing backs are probably players who can attack and potentially get chances, but defensively can be a bit of a liability at times. So that's probably somewhere where you're going to want to exploit. Yeah, it's interesting as well because we've got a few players who sort of look like wingers, but obviously the way that you play with, if you're playing wing backs and 5 at the back, you're probably not going to have a load of players out wide as well. So I'm still waiting to see what the Fuchs setup looks like, but it's looking a little bit more promising. The performances generally have been better, even if we haven't quite got all the results that we've been hoping for, particularly against Gillingham last week. I'm sorry, we should have won that. And it's just getting that bit of backbone and confidence in that team, which for me is probably the most important thing Fuchs can do, rather than any tactical changes.
Yeah, no, fair enough. He needs to try and manifest the 2015-16 Leicester mentality in the squad, doesn't it?
Yeah, well, yeah, that's what we're hoping for. We'll see. Okay, Tom, thank you so much for your time. I would say best of luck this weekend. Best of luck for every other weekend apart from this one.
And yourselves, yeah.
Cheers.